Come and get your love. Come and get your love now. Yep, it's time for Morning Love. Good morning. Glad you're here with us at beautiful Buckwheat Farms Magic Emporium and Ballroom for your daily dose of love, hope, and encouragement. I hope today's message, today's content is loving and gives you hope and encourages you. Start off on a little down note because I'm going to be talking about the concept of time that we have. I remember about 16 years old, a song by Kansas came out, Dust in the Wind. All we are is dust in the wind. We're here and in a moment gone. And you know, at 16 years old, I didn't really want to think about that stuff. But as I get older, I think about what is time? You know, what actually is time? And just a few concepts of time. What we call the past is actually just, it's really a story that we tell ourselves to justify where we are now. Because our perception of the past is unique to us. You know, you can ask, you know, 20 people can witness the same incident occur, and there can be 20 different representations or memories of the event. So the past is really whatever we make of it. So that, you know, in changing our present, we can change our past, because again, it's all based on perspective. Now, the future is this daunting thing that's out there that somehow we have to find a way to manipulate through, and it's often filled with like hopes and dreams and wishes. And you know, when I think about hopes and dreams and wishes, they're wonderful to have, but you can't live off of them. There has to be a concrete, tangible. There has to be a now. And that now is that place that's in between. And the reality is that the now that we think of is not the now that I'm talking about. And what I'm saying is even things that are happening right in front of me are actually in the essence of the energy moving. By the time that the idea has progressed into, you know, my senses, into my mind, and my mind has processed it, which happens at just an incredible rate of speed, faster than the speed of light. But yet still, this event, this thing has moved beyond that point of my concept, my perspective of it, my understanding of it, even if it's only slightly. Even if it's only moved slightly beyond, it still moves beyond. So we're actually, our experiences, even our feelings, our senses are all senses of past events, because the event is already past. So when I'm talking about living in the now, I'm talking about living into actually a state of almost just a little ahead of yourself. I liken it to when I was back in my motorcycle days. The one thing about riding a motorcycle is you can tell people who've ridden for a while when they're driving, because they will look well down the road, because you're taught to look at least a minute and a half ahead, a minute ahead of where you are, 30 seconds to 45 seconds, I think a minute ahead of where you're going, to try to assess the situation. And in reality, see, that minute ahead is the now that you should focus on. Because by the time the event has reached your senses, it is gone. So we're constantly living in this state of reacting to stimuli. And you know, that's really good in the primitive state, because it's I mean, as far as our primitive mind, our monkey mind goes, because it keeps us safe. I mean, those are the things that you know that we think keep us safe. I mean, you know, you move your arm after the snake has already struck. You You swat after the bug is bitten. So we're always living in this state of responding and reacting, and that's what the concept of intent and purposeful living and mindfulness is about perceiving that bubble moment that's just before what we actively perceive, and it takes practice. It takes meditation. I know everyone hates to hear that word. And why is that? Why is that? Because a lot of that is because we do live in the past, and because we've associated so much with the past, pains or angst or disappointment or whatever, you know, the stories are. And most of the stories are from our past are bad because we're excusing, you know, where we are now. You know, the guy who hits his wife, he says, "I'm sorry, hon, you know, my father beat my mother and it's all I ever saw." Well, you know, that's where your focus is, and you're excusing, you know, your present actions. So mindfulness and this idea of that preceding the moment before the moment we experience, and seeking that moment puts us in a state of being proactive rather than reactive. So that rather than our time, rather than our emotions and the passions of the moment causing us to make mistakes and get out of whack, we begin to understand that we can avoid those things. We can move through our life much smoother. And I'm trying to come to a tangible example of this, and I kind of can. We have I was slicing sweet potatoes to make chips, and we have one of those old graters that has the large, wide little blade on the side. It's kind of a square thing that comes down at an angle, you know, with the handle on the top. And because it's a metal, what I realized is, unfortunately too late, but as I was pushing in, the metal gave some, and so the motion to push was constantly towards the blade rather than down because of the way the material was made. And I realized too late, just as I realized, hey, I'm pushing towards the blade, I'd gone down and got a little nick on my thumb, you know, a little painful nick, but a good lesson. And then I thought about, you know, after that, how. And so I used mindfulness to keep from slicing my finger by realizing, not reacting, but understanding in the moment before the moment. And that's what mindfulness, that's what meditation, that's what focusing on the desire that we want causes in our life, is for us to live in proaction rather than reaction. And I just want you to know, when I'm doing this, presenting these content, these videos, I'm working it out just like you are. So in this, I don't want to sound like, hey, I'm some guy over here who's got it. I'm banging my head against the seat. I'm still cutting my thumb. I'm still doing those things. But because I'm doing them, there's no excuse to continue doing them. We don't have to be bound by a past that we've created, and often created to excuse where we are, to excuse living a life that others have created for us. And we use it as an excuse to not be what we're created to be. And we often use our concept of the future, this unforeseeable or this unattainable thing that's out there, to avoid the concept. We're all the time avoiding who and where we are. And if you truly believe, as I do, that we are the very essence of divinity, that we are the divine in every aspect of my body, in every aspect of my being, in every aspect of my mind, my spirit, my soul, I am the divine and you are the divine. If we truly believe that, then it's time to start living in the now moment. I have an unfinished song to my wife. I started a couple of years ago, several years ago now, and I need to pull it back out and see how I can finish it up. But it's the lines started out, the song started out that I experienced forever in a moment, every moment since I met you. And that's the thing. If you're looking for eternity, it's in the moment. It's not in the past. It's not in the future. It's in that moment. And as you slow down and you live in that bubble, that bubble that's just ahead of what you're experiencing, as you begin to push out and let your intuition and your and that sixth sense, the third eye, whatever you want to call it, push out ahead of you, then you'll truly begin to experience eternity, because eternity is not something out there. Eternity is in every moment. Eternity is in you. Namaste.